Man, is it great to be back with you guys. I have been under the weather for a while. It's been driving me crazy. I've been dying to get down here in the studio and do some work, but I'm much better now, so let's get started. What I want to show you today is what I've got in my camera bag for 2024, but let me be a little more specific. What I want to show you is what I carry to weddings in my camera bag. If I tried to show you every camera I have, I think there's like 13 of them, so we're going to stick with what I carry to weddings. So let's get started. So the first thing, everybody's got a main camera that they use. My main camera is the Canon R6. I love this camera. It's probably it is the most favorite camera I've ever had. Although in about 1986 or 87, I did get that Canon T90. Some of you older guys remember that film camera that it kind of looked like the new digital cameras, and it was really ahead of its time, but it was for film. So I always love that Canon T90. But this would go down as my favorite camera that so far that I've ever used. It just does everything I need. It's fantastic for low lights at wedding. Got the battery grip on it. It can go a long time. I think I have like 8 batteries for it. I keep 2 in here at a time. When I'm at a wedding, there's always 6 that are fully charged or it's going in a cycle. So we never have to worry about batteries going dead. But the Canon R6, that's my camera. And the lens that I use on that most of the time, not all the time, is the Canon 24-70 f2.8. I use it a lot. I really like it. It's got a good range. You know, the 24-70 is the range that everybody likes. So it works really well. And I've got the adapter on the end of it to make it fit on the R mount. And also, if I'm going to put it on the other camera, I'll just take it off and put it straight onto the EF mount. Then I got a couple right here. Now, this one I use rarely unless I'm looking to do something fun or just got a lot of people. It's a 16mm. I don't use it a lot. At special occasions, every now and then, like the other day, I was shooting and I had like big family group spread out through the entire front yard, and they wanted everybody in the house in the background. So I went down the road, and the 16mm did a great job. But I don't use it that much, but it's there when I need it. And then the 51.8, you know, that'll get you through a lot of things you need right there. This is the RF lens. They're not these. The 50 and the 16 are not very expensive RF lenses, although they do a really good job. Can't complain what this 51.8 will do for the price it was. So if you've got an art system from Canon, make sure that you grab at least the 50. They also make, I believe, a 24, a 35, and a 16. And an 85 also. Their 85, I believe, is $5.99, $4.99, somewhere in there. But I've already got an 85 and I don't need another one. But the 50 is worth it. I promise you that one. You'll always find a use for it. Now, that is mostly what I shoot with. Or actually, I'm liable to shoot with all of it at any given time. My wife also shoots. And this is the camera she mostly uses. It's the Canon 6D. So the Canon 6D is EF mount, so the lenses just fit directly on it unless it is an RF lens like that 50 or 16. And you put 2 batteries in this camera, you don't have an EFV on or anything, you can go all day shooting a wedding with this thing and never have to change the batteries, although we do have plenty of batteries if we need them. So the 6D, I tell you, the 6D I think is maybe one of the most underrated cameras Canon's ever made. The color science in this camera, the build quality, I just love this Canon 6D. It's one of those cameras I'll probably never get rid of. Probably like I should have not have ever got rid of the T90, but hey guys, I just want to take this second of your time. If you guys would please hit like and subscribe, it would go a long ways toward helping our channel and help us keep making these videos. Thank you. Canon 6D is just, the only thing I don't love about the Canon 6D is it only has 1 memory card slot. I know some people don't care about that, but I like to have the 2 memory card slots, shooting weddings and stuff. But I love this camera, the color science, it's great camera. If you're looking for a full frame backup and you're in the Canon, find a Canon 6D. You can get these for $300-400 for the body only, and they're fantastic cameras. They're just absolutely. I've done videos on them before. I think a lot of you guys agree with me about how underestimated the Canon 6D really is. But that'll be my wife's camera. And then we'll pull out the lenses, and we share the lenses a lot. Depends on what she's doing. She's in there getting the girls getting dressed most of the time, and then I'll head that way. But the lens I usually start her with is this is another lens I like, Sigma 24-105 f4. And there, all you guys are like, oh, it's an f4, you don't want an f4. I'm like, all right. This f4 is a fantastic lens. I did a video on this lens just the other day by itself. The color that comes off this, I used to have the Canon 24-105 f4. It broke. So I decided, I had been reading about Sigma, and I've always been a pretty big fan of Sigma. So I got this brand new. I don't remember what I paid for it. 24-105 f4, probably, I don't know, I'm guessing $1,000, give or take. But this lens, especially when paired with the Canon 6D, you just get some amazing results. I would call the Sigma 24-105 f4 one of the most underrated lenses for Canon. And then you stick it on the 6D, which is one of the most underrated cameras for Canon, and you've got quite an underrated camera that's going to get you some fantastic pictures, and that's what we're looking for. Hey, I know you guys, not everybody out there is a working pro. Photography for me has always been my living. It's never been a hobby. I started at 15 years old and as a job working in a 1 hour photo lab, and I haven't quit since. I mean, I don't work 1 hour photo labs anymore. Obviously, I'd be living in the streets somewhere because nobody's had a roll of film process in an hour in, what, 30 years? I don't know. But anyway, if you are doing it for a hobby, that's fantastic. Enjoy it. It's just how I make my living. So, like when I go on vacation, I try to go bare minimal on cameras that I take. Unless I'm going out of town to a photo shoot, of course. But if it's just me and my wife going out of town, I'll take a camera. But it won't be, I'm not taking all this stuff with me. I'll just grab a camera and a lens and we'll go. Something easy to carry around, because I carry all this stuff around work all the time. So, but yeah, if you're looking for this wasn't in my notes, but if you're looking for a backup full frame camera from the Canon 6D for the price, cannot hardly be beat. It's just, believe me, and ask people that have the Canon 6D. They'll tell you the same thing. And then you can find a used Sigma 24-105. You can probably get this used for $700. It's heavy, but the shots that come from it are great. And the 24-105 range is going to cover pretty much everything. Okay, what else do we got here? We have, I forgot in the big camera, don't want to forget this. I carry this around. This is the new Canon, the Godox X Pro2C, which is for Canon. That goes on top of my Canon R6 to control my flashes, which I'll get to all the flashes in just a minute. In the second camera bag, this is the backup. This is an older version of the Godox. This is a backup. You can actually take and put a flash on top of this one while you control other flashes around. I like that part. That's my favorite thing about this Godox, is you can put a flash on it with hot shoe. What I don't like about it is you have to be a Harvard graduate to understand how to navigate through their menus. The new one is much better on the menus. But if you're getting a brown, something breaks, got a backup, so you're good to go. I tell you, I've got the coolest thing. Y'all know I get excited about gear that I like. I've already pre-ordered it. I think it's supposed to come out January 30th, February 1st. I got 2-day delivery on it. So right in the very beginning of February, I've got a video that will be coming out. So I'll make it the day I get it. It's going to replace one of these pieces that I'm showing y'all today. And I'm so excited about it because they have done such a tremendous job. And I haven't had it in my hands or seen it yet. But according to the video and the specs, it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to get it and try it out. It's going to stop a lot of my complaining when I'm doing things at weddings. I can't wait to show you guys this. I don't very often say, hey, you guys really need to buy this. I probably said it a few times. But when I get this, it'll be something I say, once I check it out, make sure it works like I want it to, I will definitely be saying, hey, you guys need to get this. And it's not that expensive. It's less than $100. But it will make your workflow much easier. And that's what we're all about, making our workflow easier and making more profit. So let's keep going. What we got over here? The second wedding bag also has the 85 1.8 Canon. It's a good little lens. It's been around for a long time. You can get some good headshots with this lens right here. It's just timeless almost. It fits in that same category like the 6D. They all come from that same kind of time period. And then we have, if anybody knows how to pronounce Siriu, I don't know. But I got one of their lenses to play with, 35. It's an RF mount. I like it. It's got a 1.2 T1.2 on it. Problem with me is I'll probably sell it because it's not autofocus. I'm not great at autofocusing at my age. But it is a good lens. I did have fun playing with it. And then we will go to the 70-210. Tamron 70-210. It's a great lens. Got vibration reduction, autofocus. And again, this is not a lens I use constantly when I'm at a wedding, but I will pull it out when I need it. It works like a charm. It does a really good job. And it's a whole lot less expensive than a Canon 70-200. Probably costs half, maybe half, maybe a little bit more than half, but it's a lot less. And for as much as I use it, it's well worth the money. I love it. It's not weather sealed, but I don't shoot in the rain very often if I can help it. But it is, I think it's the only Tamron lens I have, but it is good. It focuses really fast, especially on that new Canon R6. Everything focuses fast on that thing. But if you need a zoom lens, you can probably find one of these. It's the Tamron 70-210 f2.8. Then we've got some Canon Flashes. We got the Canon 580 EX2. Used this for years. So shouldn't keep batteries in here. Let's see if I do have batteries in here. I do have batteries in there at the moment. I don't usually leave batteries in there, so I'm gonna take those out and I'll put them in. And you always want to have your battery chargers. If fewer and fewer things are using these AA chargeable now, so I still have some on hand. And I always keep extra memory cards. Some of them are unopened. Some of them are still new in the box. I've always got them laying around somewhere. It's got my ND filter, 9-stop filter from Newer, I believe it is. And then we've got memory cards. I got a couple boxes with memory cards in them, so they're everywhere. You can't reach more than 3 feet without grabbing a box of memory cards around here, but I keep them in different bags. They're everywhere. Any bag you open to mine pretty much going to have box memory cards in it because you always need memory cards. So, all right, those are the cameras and the lenses. So let's jump into the flashes because it's very important that you have flashes, especially at a wedding. So let's jump into that. All right, one quick thing before we jump into the flashes. I have made one change recently. How I shoot the reception. I showed you everything. It came out of the main 2 camera bags for weddings. All the full frame Canons, all the heavy lenses. We'll shoot the wedding, the before shots, the getting ready shots, the ceremony shots, the after shots. Once we get down to just the reception, because I'm getting old, I put all the big, heavy, medium format gear up, and I reach for the camera that is right up there recording me right now. It is the Lumix G85. It does a fine job. And your question is, no, it don't do well in the dark, and you're correct. No, it does not do well in low light. But we do have flashes for it. We have the Godox V1 to go on top of the Lumix G85, which also has a battery grip on it. And this battery, this battery lasts forever. These lithium batteries, you don't have to worry about AA things anymore. These things just go and go and go. And I've got an extra one. I've got one for Canon, one for Nikon, and an extra battery. So there's always one charged and one ready somewhere. So this, for our receptions, goes on top of the much smaller Lumix G85, and I'll show you guys a picture of the Lumix G85 before the video's over so you can see how much smaller it is than the regular camera. I'll put them side by side and take a picture and show you. But with that said, when I do switch over to the Lumix G85, right now I've got a 24 to 70 on it. They call it 12 to 35, but it's because it's double because it's a micro 4/3. But it's a 24 to 70 equivalent f2.8, so I shoot a lot with it. It weighs almost nothing. It helps my back so much because I've been in a couple bad car wrecks and my back's just not what it used to be. I've had some work done, and you young guys that are in your 20s, you don't have to pay any attention to this. Just keep shooting. That's what I used to do all the time. I was carrying them big, medium Mamiya 645 cameras with Metz flashes and all that when I was your age. But now that I'm older and I get all the important shots, and by important shots, I don't mean the other shots aren't important. Again, I do this for a living. When I say important shots, I mean the money-making shots. 95% of all the money you make is going to come from all the pictures before you cut the cake. Let me try that again. About 90 to 95% of all the money you're going to make is going to be on the pictures that you shot before they cut the cake. After the cake's cut, you may be there for hours, but you're only going to get about 10% of those sales from that wedding from that. And even then, I think that's a pretty high number. So shooting with the G95, got a flash on it, so don't have to worry about being dark. I've got f-stops that go down to 1.7 on some of these lenses. And then worst case scenario, somebody calls and says, hey, I was dancing, I haven't seen my girlfriend in 35 years. We want a 30 by 40. So run it through Topaz. So no problem. We can do it. There's always a way to do something. You just got to be smarter than what you're working on. That's what my granddad always told me. So, of course, he was much better at it than me, but what are you going to do? This is a 42.5 lens that I can put on the G85. It's an 85mm 1.7. And then I've got a 90 to 300 equivalent, which I can zoom from the car if I forgot to get a picture. And then we've got the 50mm 1.8, and I got a whole bunch of gadgets in this bag here. And that is for photography after the cake is cut. We jump to micro 4/3. Now I am working, and if you guys know anybody that has one or run into anybody that does, I am looking for an Olympus OM1 D1X, I believe it's called. It's got some long name. It's the big, huge Olympus. It was their flagship camera, I think in about 2019. It was the Olympus OM1 M1X. Maybe it's one where the grip is built into the camera and it'll work through a hurricane. And that's really the one I want to switch to for my receptions. It's just a little more heavy duty. The G85 is good for video and setting in the studio, but I don't know how long it'll take all the banging around that goes on at a wedding. So just want to, you know, get a camera that I know is going to last. Not that this camera won't last. It's been around a long time, but it hasn't been rough housed. And at weddings, things can get kind of hectic. So I'm looking for that Olympus. Anybody knows somebody that's got one, let me know. Appreciate it. All right, so now to what is almost just as important as this, if not more, lighting. You must have the right lighting. I don't care if you've got the greatest camera in the world. If your light sucks, nobody cares. Now these I set up across the room when we get to the reception when they're dancing. I'll set up, I got multiple ones of these. These come off, you can put different heads on top of them. You can put them under umbrellas. I've got a light stick that you guys have seen me use, the Godox light stick. It's like a Darth Vader sword. Put these around the room, set them on different channels, walk around and shoot the pictures with the reception. I'll be doing it with the Lumix G85. Or if my wife is shooting, she'll be doing it with whatever camera she's using. So we've got 3 of these, I think, that we set up around the reception. And we also can trigger. I showed you the one a while ago for the Olympus. And here's the one for the Canon. So here's the Canon Godox V1 and the Olympus Godox V1. These will also work with that same Godox trigger that powers everything else. Even though this is Olympus, it'll still work from that Godox trigger. So you can put lights everywhere, behind things, in front of people, bouncing off the walls, wherever you need lights, you can do it. Always have plenty of lights. I'm not a photographer who says don't put a flash on top of your camera, because when you're at a wedding, things are moving fast. You don't always have time or happen to be in the right spot where one of your flashes are. So I try to keep a flash on top of my camera. And the good thing about these V1s is they are transmitters themselves. So you can use this as a transmitter and turn it off if you're using the side lights, or turn this back on if you want this one to flash. Say you walk up to me and I'm about to walk out the door. Hey, can I get a picture? And everything's already moved. I'm sure can. Let's put this right on my camera, bounce the flash, boom, taken care of. I didn't have to go through a big ordeal. I was ready to get their picture. It's not what I recommend, but it's better to get a picture than not get a picture. So just remember that. I won't show you all the umbrellas and the stands and the soft boxes and all that. I will show you this. 2 more things I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to shut up. This is good. This is a little Elonzi LED 40-watt light. It's not terribly strong, but if you need light, you can take this thing. You can see where it's on. And if you're outside, so you got a couple of outside and it's almost dark, you can turn this on to get the focus on them. Although the Godox V1 heads have a modeling light, this is a little stronger. But this is for the shots that you do beforehand, bride and groom. Y'all know I love this Godox flash stick. This comes out at the beginning of the wedding, as soon as the camera comes out. I love this thing. It's powered from the Godox AD-200. Puts out beautiful light. You got the barn doors. I know you guys have seen me show it over and over. I showed it as my favorite piece of gear from last year. So I love this thing. It's a little bit expensive. They're about $340, but man, they are nice to carry. And you don't have to carry softbox with it either. The light is just as soft with or without the softbox. But anyway, that's what we are doing for 2024. And if you want to know what our schedule looks like. So in 2024, our schedule, because I'm not just a YouTube photographer. I'm a photographer for a living who does YouTube on the side. But when I retire, hopefully in about 6 or 7 years, it'll be mostly this. We're planning on retiring, hopefully near a beach one day. And then I can do small beach weddings. We'll be good to go. But until then, we're going to keep doing this. Our schedule this year, what we're looking at is we have 2,800 brides right now that we got from a wedding show that we did. We got their names, addresses, and dates. And no, we're not going to try to book all 2,800 of them. I'm not even close to 2,800. I try not to do weddings back-to-back weekends, but we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping to get maybe 20, 25 weddings. I don't need a ton of weddings, but I'll take a few. And then we're negotiating with about 3 different schools for senior pictures, and we're always doing models. That's a 24/7 thing, shooting models. And, we're doing family portraits. We're doing just about everything. So if you know anybody that's getting married or needs a good photographer, you may be one yourself. But if you don't know a photographer, I'm in the Atlanta, Georgia area. Let me know. If you guys have any questions about any of the equipment that I've shown you or anything, or questions about equipment you have, it may not be working like you want it to, or whatever the case may be, just shoot me an email down the bottom. I'll help you guys out. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed that. And I am very, very, very excited to get this new gadget in. I call it a gadget. It's not really a gadget, but everything I buy, my wife always says, "Oh, a new gadget, huh?" I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm sure it's a gadget. What do you say? But a very, very important gadget. I cannot wait to see this thing. I'm so excited over this little video. And I promise you guys, the moment I get my hands on it from the UPS or FedEx guy, whoever's bringing it. I'm going to open it, going to mess with it for a few minutes, make sure it works like I think it do. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to make a video and show you guys. And then the piece that was in here is going bye-bye. It's going to the shelf for backup. But anyway, hey, it's fun talking to you guys. Sorry about the last few days. I've been kind of under the weather. So y'all, I appreciate you bearing with me. It's good to be back with you guys. Anyway, I hope this helped you guys out. And this is what we take to weddings. We go fully prepared with weddings. In fact, we take more than this to weddings because I only showed you 2 full frame cameras and micro 4/3. We got another micro 4/3 we're trying to find. And then we have a long list of other cameras that we'll take too. We'll also take a 70D. It just keeps going. We're not short on cameras around here, that's for sure. But we always have more than enough to photograph your wedding. And I have backups for backups. And this is what you have to do a wedding. And there's a lot more to doing a wedding than just having the equipment. You have to be able to know how to handle the wedding. This is a video for another day. But just don't run out and buy a bunch of equipment and go, okay, I'm ready to shoot a wedding. Where do we start? This is not how it works. If you want to shoot a wedding and you're into photography, get with a photographer. If you're local in my area, you can look me up. Most photographers say, yeah, come on, I'll take you. You can go to what's called a 2nd or 3rd shooter. You may or may not get paid, but what you'll be getting is experience. And that's what you need. You need a couple of years experience. You got to learn your equipment inside and out, and you have to learn how to handle people inside and out. And at a wedding, you know, people are always kind of like 5 on 1 out of 10 with stress. When you get to a wedding, sometimes it can almost hit a 10, maybe sometimes go over a 10. I've been at some crazy ones. Really got to know how to handle those things. So I don't suggest anybody just jump into shooting weddings unless you've been training with another photographer, or you know, I don't suggest anybody do it unless you've been training with another photographer. I had about 3 photographers that trained me when I was young. So, hey, I'm going to shut up with the rambling now. I appreciate it, guys. It's good to be back. And if we're helping you guys out, please hit that like and subscribe button. Y'all have a good day.